We've been getting all these moves with the Baltimore Ravens coaching staff, but still have yet to hear something official directly from the Baltimore Ravens on Todd Monken. What's up with that? Anyway, team, keep it clean. We got even more coaching updates to get into. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on. Thank you for helping us get to 81,000 subscribers. Let's keep this thing pushing. Also, leave a like on the video because it helps out a ton. Now, it was announced today, coincidentally, the day after the Chuck Pagano hire. Who knows? But it was announced today from Tom Pelissero. He said the following: the Ravens and assistant head coach / pass game coordinator Chris Hewitt agreed to mutually part ways per league sources. Now, with that headline, it did have a lot of people, including myself, confused, because I was like, Chris Hewitt, pass game coordinator, assistant head coach and pass game coordinator, but he was the defensive pass game coordinator. So not the offensive, but he assisted with the defensive pass game coordination. Anyway, continuing. It says Hewitt had been on the staff since 2012. So that man, he came on the staff and all he knew was Super Bowls. His first year, Ravens won it all. But ever since then, well, you know the rest of the story. It says, but both sides felt timing was right for a fresh start. Hewitt interviewed for defensive coordinator jobs last year and will have interest, so he should be able to land on his feet, so that's a good thing for him. But why the sudden change? Why would all of a sudden, if it's somebody who's been on the staff since 2012, you've been around for 15 years. That's a long time in one spot. Shout out to you, man. That is some longevity right there. So good for him. I remember when I first initially read this post, I thought it was a special teams coordinator, but that's Chris Horton. But this is Chris Hewitt. Anyway, Jonas Schaefer, he commented on it. He said Hewitt was one of Harbaugh's longest tenured assistants. Yeah, I mean, you were around since 2012. Yeah, you've been around a long time. And he said, with the Ravens' struggles early last season and Chuck Pagano's arrival, this isn't too surprising. Now, it still is a bit to me because while the Ravens' pass game struggled heavily last year, their defense was rough last year. Oh my goodness, it was ugly for them first 10 weeks. But after that, I felt like they were just fine. I didn't feel like they needed, and I ain't mad at Chuck Pagano hire at all. I do like it, especially with his experience and everything and everybody that he has been around and coached previously and the success that he's had previously too, especially with the Baltimore Ravens. But I didn't feel like the Baltimore Ravens, they needed to do anything drastic on the defensive side of the ball as far as the coaching staff or whatnot. I know they did lose their linebacker. Well, they didn't lose them. They let them go. Their linebackers coach. And so, okay. I guess they just felt like maybe the linebackers weren't put in positions good enough to succeed. Maybe they weren't coached up right. Maybe they weren't trained right. I don't know. Maybe the development of some linebackers wasn't up to par as they felt that it should be. I don't know. But the Ravens let go of their linebacker coach. But I just felt like as far as the secondary, could they have made more plays? Yeah. But I felt like from week 11, they really they turned it on, man. They were on point for the most part. I know Brandon Stevens, he was still a little bit rough around the edges and whatnot, but everybody else was they were doing their thing. They really were. So I didn't feel like anybody should have been fired. And I didn't feel like they necessarily needed to hire anybody. Now, I ain't mad at getting even better because I always say that. Look, if you can find avenues and find ways to get even better and stuff, do it. By all means, go for it. But I guess the Ravens were like, look, they say, Chris, you got to go, my friend. But, sorry, no. It was a mutual parting of ways. They mutually agreed to go their separate ways. But Brian McFarland, Ravens salary cap on X, he had this to say about this move. He said, yeah, it seems like Pagano's arrival had a direct impact on this. Perhaps the explained sharing or shifting of duties did not sit well with Chris Hewitt. Secondary has clearly underperformed, and new voices are probably a good thing. So I guess, man, I'm not seeing, if we talking weeks 11 through the rest of the season, I'm not really seeing, maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not really seeing where the secondary underperformed. Could they have made some more plays? Yeah. Could they have caught some more picks? Yeah, but I feel like the secondary, they did their thing. Were they just locked down secondary that wasn't giving up absolute anything? No, but they were pretty good. They were pretty good. We saw the turnaround. We saw the position changes and whatnot. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton, they moved him on the back end. Or Darius Washington ended up holding down that second safety spot. And the defense was amazing. The secondary was excellent. They were not giving up all the big plays like they had been in the first 10 weeks of the season. They had really turned things around. But again, I guess, hey, when it's time for somebody, and again, y'all mutually agreed on this. It ain't like he got fired, and it ain't like he quit, but y'all both came to the mutual agreement like, look, it ain't gonna work. But at the same time, we have seen this story before with Baltimore Ravens, with different coordinators and coaches, because what Ravens do, and this is a good thing, so I ain't mad at them at all for doing it. And could they have done it with Chris Hughes? Possibly. Not saying it is, not saying it isn't though. But we've seen it with the Baltimore Ravens when they have wanted to move on from somebody, and they still got love for you. They're not gonna say, "Oh, we fired that guy, we got rid of that guy." No, they're gonna say, "Hey, we mutually agreed to part ways," because that looks amicable on both sides, and that can help you in your future endeavors. Because I mean, we all know from experience. You go applying to a new job, and they say, "Hey, what happened at this last position?" "Oh, I got fired." They're gonna look at it. What? You got fired for what? They already gonna be looking at you sideways. But if you tell them either you got laid off, that's a completely different story, or that you and the company, hey, we just decided mutually that it was best time for both of us to have a fresh start. That sounds so a million times better than, "Oh, I got fired." Like, companies, they don't want to hear that. So could this have been that with Chris Hughes? I don't know. We don't know. But bottom line is, he's gone. As Ravens fans, we know a lot about MVPs. I mean, our favorite quarterback has 2 of them, and possibly by the end of the season, he could have 3. But let me tell you about another MVP that you should know about, and that's Mando. But why is Mando the MVP? Not that you smell anything, but Mando's probably way better than whatever it is that you're using. And let me tell you why. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control. That's a long time. It's safe for your whole body. Pits, your package, your feet, and everywhere in between. And it puts a stop to odor before it even starts. You can choose from 3 different formats. There's a spray with the super easy application. There's a stick, that's a familiar favorite. Then there's the cream that rubs in like lotion for those hard to reach areas. Now, I'm normally a stick guy, but why not use all 3 to be extra protected? Now, Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers, or if you want to get a last minute surprise for somebody, because it comes with the solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and it comes with 2 free products of your choice, like the Mando deodorant wipes or the mini body wash. And it's free shipping, so you can't beat that. Now, luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack by using code Ingraven at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support the show and tell them that we sent you. Don't let the meat sweats get you this season. Your family and friends will thank you. So now we reach my favorite part of the videos, where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send your question in a DM directly on Patreon. And if you would like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids, or you can send a question to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com. Team Keep It Clean, I appreciate all y'all participating in this. We have like 1,000,000 questions. I don't know when we are ever going to get caught up with them, but we are going to continue to try our best. Before we get into it, I got to give a special shout out to our newest Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy, James. So shout out to James for becoming a Team Keep It Clean patron. We appreciate you. And he said, you know what? Let's get it started. He said, what's up, Ingraven? What's up, James? He said, this is my first question ever for the Team Keep It Clean family. So this is a special one right here. He said, my question is, do you think the Coach Pagano hiring is to give Zach Orr more knowledge and wisdom behind him? So when Harbaugh retires, Zach will become his successor. Ooh, that's a really, really good question. I did not think about it like that. Or what about if it's to potentially give Chuck Pagano the job as John Harbaugh's successor? But no, I don't know. But wow. But at the same time, as crazy as that sounds, it sounds really crazy, but I cannot completely rule it out, because we've seen stuff like that happen before. It's all about who you know. Would they hand the keys to Zach Orr? I don't think so yet, because they brought him in brand new, fresh defensive coordinator. Never had the job before, ever. But would they be thinking about him being the next possible head coach for the Baltimore Ravens? I don't think they're thinking about that right now. I don't. I know the Ravens, of course, they got their plans that they keep close to their chest and whatnot, especially when it comes to Harbaugh and especially when it comes to life after John Harbaugh. I'm sure it's been a conversation that's been brought up plenty of times, and they've been thinking about the future. They probably had conversations with John Harbaugh, like, hey, how long you think you're going to do this for? John Harbaugh may have had conversation with them, letting them know, like, hey, I think I'm going to only do it for this much longer. But Zach Orr as the successor and getting more knowledge from Chuck Pagano, I don't think it's that. I do still think this has something to do with the Baltimore Ravens' future, and I think it's them trying to get ahead of something. But I don't know. I just cannot exactly put my finger on what it is. Next question came from another Teamkeepitclean patron, my guy Omar. He said, "Hope everything is going well for you. We all have opinions on the best path forward for the Ravens to get back to winning the Super Bowl, and I'm no different. I'd like to share my thoughts with the Teamkeepitclean family." All right, here we go. He said, "I feel confident in the offense." I think we all can agree right there. I really do. But anyway, he said they either led the NFL or ranked among the top teams in every major offensive category. Yes, they did a phenomenal job, and they're still growing. But anyway, he said, while there will be some tweaks in the offense and some new starters in certain positions, this is the NFL after all. Nothing major needs to change on that side of the ball. I agree. Obviously, we got our starting quarterback. We got our starting running back. Our offensive line is going to look different, or it could possibly look very different. If Ronnie Stanley leaves, Pat McCarry leaves, that's 2 starting spots right there. Then at wide receiver, you still got Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. You can add to that. Will Tylan Wallace be back? Will Nelson Aguilar be back? What's Tez Walker's role going to be? So at wide receiver, there could be some changes there. But you got your top 2 receivers, essentially. At tight end, right now, you still have Mark Andrews. Right now, you still have Isaiah Likely. Right now, you still have Charlie Kolar. I say right now because obviously some things could change. We'll talk about that later. But, so yeah, your offense is pretty much set. And did I mention Derrick Henry? I don't think I did. But, yeah, you got Derrick Henry, too. Now, something that could change possibly. I don't think it will. But Pat Ricard, he's a free agent. You going to bring him back again? Probably. But nothing's guaranteed in the NFL. That's why they try to get as much guaranteed money as they possibly can. Anyway, he said, I believe the defensive side is where significant moves in both free agency and the draft could help the Ravens hoist the Lombardi Trophy again. I have full confidence in Coach Orr and the way the unit was playing at the end of the season. He's the right coach to lead the side of the ball, no doubt. For the defensive side of the ball, we could always use more playmakers on both sides of the ball. You can never have enough playmakers. But for the defensive side of the ball, I'm pretty confident in them as well. Like, they did everything and more in their power for the Baltimore Ravens to hoist the Lombardi Trophy this year. They did everything and more last year too. So the losses, and I know there's been a lot of conversation amongst Ravens fans, the defense, they haven't been forcing turnovers in the playoffs. That is true. It's technically true. And turnovers, they could help make a big difference. They could help turn this thing around. They could help a lot because they change field position. It takes away points from the other team. I get it, but the defense has done more than enough for the Baltimore Ravens to win in the playoffs. Offense has been letting them down, though. They really have. So, you think about the last 2 playoff losses to the Bills and the Chiefs. In the second half, they held the Bills to 6 points. It's insane, man. They held the Bills to 6 points. Then in the game against the Chiefs, they held the Chiefs to what? Was it 7 in the second half? I think. Was it 7 or 3 in the second half? It was something crazy low. But that's the Chiefs. That's AFC Championship, and you held them to that little in the second half of the game. And what they scored, 17 points overall. You held the Chiefs in the AFC Championship to 17 points. That's phenomenal. That's amazing. That's great. And they lost. So yeah. Anyway, he said during the 2023 regular season, the Ravens led the NFL in sacks. In the 2024 season, they finished second. They were ranked second in sacks this year. I didn't know that. He said, however, the playoff numbers haven't been as high. In the 2023 postseason, the Ravens recorded 2 sacks in 2 games, ranking 9th out of 14 teams. In the 2024 postseason, they managed 5 sacks in 2 games, ranking 6th out of 14. For this year's Super Bowl matchup, both teams have recorded 10 postseason sacks, ranking 2nd and 3rd, respectively. If you look back over this year, you'll notice a consistent trend. In the playoffs, getting to the quarterback and creating short fields is essential to winning. That's just the reality. Yeah. I really think throughout this season, our pass rush or pressure on quarterbacks or defensive line is very up and down, in my opinion. You could look at numbers and be like, they had this pressure rate and da-da-da-da. But in my opinion, when you watch, it was very, very up and down. Some games they will be hot, they'll be on it, but in other games they will get kind of quiet, and we'll be looking around like, hey, what happened to our pass rushers? What's going on here? He said, my question to you is this: how would you approach the roster to increase postseason sack production? I think the only way that you can really do that is to really get aggressive to trade for somebody. I think that would really be the only way. You could go through the draft and get somebody NFL ready. You could do that. But really, to trade for somebody that's obviously been in the NFL and proven that they can play in the NFL and is somebody that's consistent. Because Travis Jones, he's been good. I know he was hurt a lot of this season, though. So that definitely hurt the Ravens big time. Michael Pierce, we'll see what happens with him. But at edge, you got Kyle Vanoy, and he was productive. He was a weird kind of productive, though. What Kyle Vanoy was, but Odafe Away, he had 10 sacks this year, and he also was a weird kind of productive, to where there will be some games where they will be on, or some plays where they will be on, but then sometimes they will get missing for a little bit. And I get it, like rushing a passer is tough because you ain't gonna make a sack every single series. I get that. You ain't gonna get pressure every single series. I get that. But there will be some times when our pass rush will take some long breaks. And it's like, hey, I think we got to get to these quarterbacks. So I think really just trading for somebody who of real significance, man. I think that will be the way to get it done. Because that makes the job easier for everybody. The secondary, the linebacker, makes the job easier for everybody. But getting somebody who just straight up disruptive. And I'm not saying they are going to get him. I would love it, but it's not going to happen. If somebody like Max Crosby, who's just straight up disruptive, nasty, good in the run game, great in the pass, he can do it. Or he's just a disruptive, annoying player. If your team is going against the Raiders with Max Crosby, it's like, oh boy, here we go again. Oh, he done did something else. Oh, here he goes making another play. Because that's what he does, man. So somebody like that, I think that could help tremendously, man. He said, do you think it's more important to prioritize an interior or interior pass rusher, defensive tackle, or an outside rusher, given the players already expected to be on the team next season? That's such a great question, because we're going to have Matabike. They paid him interior defensive lineman. We're going to have Travis Jones. He's in the 30 of his deal, I believe, out of a 4-year deal. We have Odafe Away. He will be playing on the 5th-year option, I'm pretty sure. We have Kyle Vanoy. He's signed to 1 more year. David Ajabo. Oh, man, I don't know what happened with him. But we have David Ajabo as well. We have Tavius Robinson, who doesn't get too much playing time, but he's been solid, man. So he's been doing his thing. Wow. And like I said, with Michael Pierce, I don't know what's going to happen with him. Broderick Washington, we'll see what happens with him. I think he got like 1 year left on his deal. Maybe 2, but I think maybe 1. But anyway, I would say exterior. I would say outside edge guy. It's a tough question, but I would say edge guy. And you just, like with Matabike, I know his numbers were down, but we expected his numbers to go down because he was going to get a lot of attention. Like, especially when you can make all that money, like, yeah, people are going to be, oh, yeah, that's that dude that the Ravens paid? Oh, yeah, well, pay extra close attention to him. So we figured his numbers were going to go down. So that makes sense. But I would say exterior. Next question came from my guy Griffins. He said, hey, Ingraven, I want to shout you out and all the other Ravens channels because through thick and thin, you guys still put so much time. I thought there was a T-O, but it was an S-O, my fault. He said, you guys still put so much time into covering this team, yet you guys are so composed and calm how things turn out. Oof. We appreciate that. We appreciate that, man. And shout out to all the Ravens, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that stuff. Because there's a lot of people out there putting in a lot of work, man. So we all appreciate y'all, man. So y'all keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting in that work, man. And I hope every single TikTok account, every single Instagram, every single YouTube, all of that. I hope all of y'all blow up. Everybody. Because it's always nice just to see so many different people put in so many different opinions and just give their honest opinions on whatever's going on with our favorite team. And we love hearing all these different routes to success for the Baltimore Ravens, what they feel the Baltimore Ravens did good, what they feel they should have improved on. And just we love seeing the different personalities come through. So y'all are doing a great job, man. Anyway, he said, we need to win the number 1 seed again. I can see us literally going 15-2 next season based off the schedule. You know what? You ain't the first person I've seen say that. Because the schedule, it's these Ravens, man, like we already know, man. They healthy, and I don't want to like say it like that. I don't want to like take it for granted or whatever, but Ravens are healthy. They're going to be in the playoffs, man. And the Ravens, like the way that they played this season, obviously, it's going to be a brand new season. It's going to be a brand new team. It's going to be brand new players at some positions and whatnot. But Ravens, like, not that their schedule is a cakewalk, because ain't no schedule, no cakewalk. Well, some of them are. But the Ravens just, I feel like they're going to be dominant next year in a regular season. Like, playoffs, I don't know how I feel about that yet. But I feel like next season, too, they're going to be dominant. But it's playoffs that we all worried about, that we all concerned about. Anyway, continuing. He said, sign Jair Alexander. Well, hopefully he can stay healthy, because that's what he's been dealing with. He ain't been a bad play. He just ain't been able to stay healthy. He said, sign Jair Alexander, trade for Sauce Gardner, or a good, reliable wide receiver. I feel like with Sauce, I know we can save him. I know we can change him too. But as far as a good, reliable wide receiver, I think that would be a sneaky good pickup for the Baltimore Ravens, because and Zay Flowers, it ain't like he injury prone. Rashad Bateman, he got hurt. He like got knick-knacked throughout this season. He would get a little banged up here, a little banged up there, whatnot. He missed some practice time, but it wasn't like this season. He was like hurt. But you could still get somebody else, and like you said, a reliable guy. Stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. He said, keep Mark Andrews and let him do his thing, but for my sake, please make Isaiah Likely a factor on this team. He probably has some of the best hands our franchise has ever had. Ooh, that's some high praise right there. Some of the best hands the franchise has ever had. He didn't even say this year. He didn't even say last year. He said the franchise has ever had. He said, we will be back where we left off this year, and something about this feels right. I thought it felt right this year. I also thought it felt right last year, but definitely this year for sure. And yeah, look where that happened. But you know what? I will say something. One thing that I noticed this year, I don't recall anybody saying, because we used to hear this all the time from Ravens fans. They'd be like, "Oh, this year feels different. This year it feels different." I don't remember anybody really saying that. But anyway, he said, in a way, last year there was so much pressure for this team to win the Super Bowl, but now everyone has given up on our chances. I mean, what about last year? What about 2023? These dudes were the number 1 seed. They went, 13-4? They were looking unstoppable. Well, until AFC Championship. He said, but now everyone has given up on our chances and our team, including a lot of fake fans. And he said, wink. This is the best position to be. Ravens are the best team, but we are like friendly giants. It's time to crush everyone in our path. Who knows? Go undefeated. That would ease all the pain from 7 years gone sour. Thank you. Whew. That would be something. I don't expect them to go undefeated. I remember I talked to my guy before the season started, and he was talking about, he think the Ravens could go undefeated. Nope. Nope. I don't care how good a team is. I don't see nobody going undefeated. I just can't. Ravens are not. I don't care, because it's just like stuff happens. Ravens had these games where the execution is just terrible. They had these games where coaching might be bad. They had these games where they had these silly moments, and it's like, oh, really? We did that, and they'll lose because of it. So Ravens are not at the point where they are excused from the silliness, at least in 2, maybe 3 games during the regular season. And then, of course, I mean, you know how it goes in the postseason too. I mean, we got the rep for it now. But undefeated, I can't say that. But again, I do expect them to be in position, like you said, be in the same spot next year again, to where they are a competitive team, to where they have an opportunity to get in the playoffs and be successful there. But it's about, are they going to make the most of it this time around? Next question came from my guy Matthew. He said, what's up, Ingraven? What's up, Matt? He said, I hope you are enjoying your off season. It's a shame it started earlier. I'm anxiously waiting for the day we get to a Super Bowl and we have a Super Bowl live stream. Oh, I was really thinking that this could be the year that this was like, oh yeah. My wife, it's funny, she was telling me, she's like, hey, you should she's like, buy plane tickets and stuff for New Orleans. Just get it. And I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that yet. Let me just wait it out. She said, you should just get it and do it. I said, nah. And it wasn't because I wasn't I wasn't confident in the Baltimore Ravens making it to New Orleans, because y'all know that I was. But I was just wondering, like, man, to possibly go to the Super Bowl in New Orleans or do a live stream. And I was really thinking about it, but I was like, man, that's it. For me, it's a tough decision. I know for a lot of people thinking of, if I say that out loud, they're like, what? Pass on a chance to go to the Super Bowl? Are you crazy, man? Go! You better have Gwen. Obviously not now, but my thing, I really like thoroughly enjoy doing the live stream. We have a lot of fun on there. A whole lot of fun, win or lose. Obviously, we have a lot more fun when Ravens win, but I love it. I have so much fun with y'all when we live stream. We just chopping it up, chilling, laughing, making jokes, all of that stuff. I love it. So it was like a really tough decision, but Ravens said, oh, don't worry about it. You ain't going to have to make any tough decisions. We'll make it for you. But anyway, he said, till then, I want to compose an idea. I know us Ravens fans want a dominant guy off the edge like a Max Crosby or Myles Garrett. As much as I love those two and think they would be great to the squad, one guy that I think could be a realistic add this offseason. Yeah, realistic add. Because those guys, while they will be great, they'll be phenomenal. We will love them. They are not realistic. But he said one guy that I think could be a realistic add this season would be a Josh Sweat from Philly. If they don't retain him, he hasn't had the craziest sack numbers. He averages about 7 sacks a season, and he's going to be 28. Oh, was curious on your thoughts about the Ravens possibly pursuing him this offseason. Till then, you and the family stay healthy, and just like the Chiefs will hopefully be saying next week, I'm out. You know, honestly, I don't even care. I don't even care who wins. I mean, I would hope that Philly wins, but if the Chiefs win, it'll be like, oh well, there it goes again. So, I mean, to me, I don't really care too much now. But I did care. Like I told y'all, man, I just didn't want the Bills in it. I did not want the Bills in it. And that just, that made me like, ha. All right, there we go. But anyway, Sweat. Yeah, Josh Sweat. I always get him confused with Montez Sweat. I always get them confused. But yeah, I did read a report today too that talked about Philly, they want to retain him. They're going to try, but if they can't, then he'll be one of the top free agents. And that would be a good one. That, like you said, it would be more realistic. And that would give us somebody with that experience, with that Super Bowl experience, that recent Super Bowl experience. So he could be like, look, hey, we ain't got no Jalen Carter over here. We ain't got no Jordan Davis. Hey, but hey, Travis Jones. Hey, I know you. Oh, Matabike. Oh, yeah. Hey, we can make this thing happen. But Philly, their defensive line is so dominant. I mean, we saw from firsthand experience, their defensive line is great. Offensive line too. Like, these dudes got a great offensive and defensive line. It's crazy. It's not fair. It ain't fair. But it works. You see where they at right now. Their offseason ain't started yet. But I would not mind if they got somebody like Josh Sweat. I think that would be a nice pickup for the Baltimore Ravens. And like you said, a realistic one. This question came from my guy Nonek. He said, hope you and the fam are happy, healthy, and doing well. Nothing can turn that Ravens playoff frown upside down quicker than your kids when they are little. Unfortunately, my kid is in his 20s, and I'm still not over it. Appreciate you, man. To be honest, I was extremely disappointed in the loss, but not surprised at all by the outcome. We all know that every season that ends in a playoff loss is another year lost in a team Super Bowl window. We know fan bases of teams that lose consistently are inspired by 2 more wins, while teams like the Ravens, who have made the playoffs 6 out of the last 7 seasons, are sick of sitting at the end of the ball with the other 30 teams at the season's end. That's very, very true. We hate it. He said, I'm beginning to wonder if a Super Bowl just isn't in the works for this team in the Lamar Jackson era. It almost seems like the powers that be are against this man. Lamar's an MVP, and he still works to improve every aspect of his game every season. I used to believe the first of many Super Bowl wins was a one play away, but now I'm just praying for our guys to make it to a Super Bowl. That's tough, man. He said, I'm sure you'd agree. Our gameplay from any regular season win: A, no turnovers. B, keep the chains moving. C, run the ball consistently. D, take the check down. E, Nonek. He said, use all of our offensive weapons in the passing game. F, play solid defense and special teams, etc. Would have been enough for us to beat the Bills to win the AFC Championship, and win the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl. Every playoff loss we've had in the last 6 seasons has been self-inflicted with turnover after turnover, drop after drop. These mistakes are mistakes we don't do in the regular season. Yes, that's true. Playoffs will emphasize any issues that you have. But for the Baltimore Ravens, it's like a lot of times they wait till the playoffs to be like, you know what? Let's just all mess it all up. Anyway, he said, we just can't get out of our own way. I know some players in every sport are champions because they are almost ritualistic in their game day preparation, approach, and attitude, meaning these winners seem to play within themselves and take advantage of opportunities. Number one, do you think the extra effort, the pressure, and the desire to do more to play at a superstar level is what's causing us to self-destruct every playoff season? No, I don't, because these other teams got pressure on them too. Well, not so much the Chiefs. The Chiefs like, y'all want to go out there and win another one? Yeah, might as well. All right, let's do it, buddy. But with the Ravens, they implode, and they're not prepared for the biggest moments, it seems. They don't execute in the biggest moments, it seems. And then they have these letdowns. He also said, number two, what will it take for the team to get to the next level? That is such a tough question. I don't know. I said my suggestion would be a breath of fresh air going with a different coach, but obviously that's not going to happen. So with John Harbaugh staying, what's it going to take this team to get to the next level? You know what? I will say this. I would love for him, I know it's not going to happen, but if he played out on his lame duck year, if they didn't give him a contract extension. We know John Harbaugh is resilient. We know John Harbaugh, when this team's back against the wall, oh boy, they shine, they come through, they go crazy. But what about if John Harbaugh's back is against the wall? Then how would this team be? How would the coaching style be? What would the mentality be of these Baltimore Ravens if that was the situation? So I think that would be a way to get the best out of the Ravens and get them over the hump, because that would really change what we've been talking about, the mentality. He said, thanks for all that you do for the Ravens community worldwide, and let's get to 100K subscribers. One day, maybe, hopefully.